And welcome to the non-board game snobs podcast, because it's just me, Gabby. This is your ASMR episode. How does this make you feel? Is that what you wanted? And we lost all our listeners just then. Yeah, so this is another pod solo by yours truly, Gabby. I'm all alone. I'm all alone. Isn't that a song? A James Bond song? Something like that. Board Game Snobs Podcast. I'm your host, the foundation, the primary host of the show. Jerry's not here. This is a pod solo. The saddest of all podcasts. Just kidding. There's lots of podcasts that are good, that are solo. We're just not one of them. We just do this because, when I'm home, Jerry's working. When Jerry's home, I'm working, and we get together. We're still managing to put out a podcast a week, pretty much. We were trying to do like more daily stuff, but you know what? We don't even have time for that here lately. But things are cruising along. We're still under the quarantine. Now there's murder hornets. Yeah. So I was thinking, murder hornets. Why are they called murder hornets? That requires premeditation. Are they out there thinking about killing me? Because if they are, that's stressing me out. Maybe manslaughter hornets. Yeah, maybe that's what they should be called. Because that's a bee. You don't know what it's doing. It's just out there acting on instinct. And their ends do stink because that's where the stinger comes from. Buzz. Oh, no, wait, not Bazinga. Zoinka, zoinka. Yeah, that's my catchphrase. I'm not Sheldon Cooper, so I can't say bazinga. So, just a little, checking in on what we got going on Facebook and stuff. If you have anything to post, if you want to post to our Facebook group, feel free. We want to create a nice community on Facebook, our Facebook group. If you have something to post, just do it. Board games, whatever. If you think we as the Board Game Snobs or listeners of the Board Game Snobs would be interested, something show related, a game you're interested in, movies, whatever. We're not picky. Trust us. Feel free to post on our Facebook group, such as William Nillifer. He's on our Facebook group. He posted playing Barrage on Tabletop Simulator while sipping on some monkey shoulder and thinking of you guys. Hugs, and then a winky face with his tongue sticking out. Much appreciated. Barrage, excellent game. Should have won, in our opinion, the Board Game Geek Award for a Street Changes strategy game. But, hey, whatever. It's not our fault. It's not Elizabeth Hargrave's fault that her game swept all the categories. Wingspan, good. I'm burping up. You know what? So usually when me and Jerry start recording solo shows, it's because we're usually sipping on something. I got some proper 12 going here. Yeah, that's it. That's the good stuff. It's not Elizabeth Hargrave's fault that everybody voted her game for everything. Congrats to Wingspan for winning everything. Do the categories have issues? Do they have problems? Yes. And I'm sure that Jerry would love to have this on an episode, in which we might, so I won't touch on it too much. But congrats to everyone who won whatever. I posted somewhere that anytime you have a award show that is just voted on by the general populace, you're going to have things win, such as the MTV Movie of Video Awards. Is that still a thing? The Moon Man? Remember that? Where Twilight would sweep everything? That's what you get. Not that Wingspan is the Twilight of board gaming by any means. Wingspan is a quality game. Elizabeth is a quality designer. Excellent. It brought a lot of people into the hobby. Good stuff. But to sweep all the categories, that is the problem of the categories. As lots of people are talking about this. This is like, it's nothing new for me to discuss or original. But, it's a fairly, I'm not going to say it's by any means a gateway game, because there's a lot of stuff going on. But people were liking it to Terraforming Mars. And people, I mean, that's not a gateway game. You got card drafting, you got all the stuff you're doing, resource management, set collection, area control on the map of Mars, or whatever area management. I don't know. There's all kinds of subcategories for everything. And you don't want to get crazy with subcategories. I get that. But to have Wingspan just sweep everything, again, not the designer's fault. That's the voters. And again, these are the voters that voted Pandemic Legacy Season 1 like the greatest game of all time. No, it's not. It's not. Was it interesting? Yes. Was it fun? Yes. Is it the greatest conceived game of all time? No, it's not. It's Pandemic over and over again with slight variations. Is Gloomhaven number 1? I haven't even checked out Board Game Geek here lately. Gloomhaven may be the new number 1 game of all time. I don't know. We haven't played Gloomhaven. It's not our style of game. I would give it a shot just to say, yeah, I've played Gloomhaven. There you go. We have an open mind to this type of game. It's just not our style. We're heavy Euro type people. But anyway, so yeah, the Board Game Geek Awards came out. There was a lot of hullabaloo. Heavy Cardboard won podcast, best podcast of those remaining that have already won, because Board Game Geek only gives you best podcast once, and then you're out of the running for the rest of the time. So, I mean, that makes it's not accurate because, it's accurate for the year of what's left, I suppose. But otherwise, best podcast would go to probably Dice Tower, the massive Dice Tower. They would win every year because they have a massive, massive following, the likes of which we will never see. And then I think Secret Cabal has won. All the big ones have already won. So to only award that to one podcast, and then once you've won it, then you're not eligible for the next year. It makes sense in that way. It's like gives a chance to other people to get recognition. That's good. But also at the same time, I read somewhere where, who was it that said this? I forget who said this. Maybe it was Dan. That the Board Game Geek Awards have podcasting in there so that the podcasts will discuss the Board Game Geek Awards. It's a self-eating machine. What do they call that? Like the Chimera? It's just a self-feeding machine. So the podcast will talk about the Board Game Geek Awards, and then so they had the podcasts in the Board Game Geek Awards. But anyway, yeah, whatever. We voted for Sporadically Bored, of course. They're our buddies. They're our friends. Are we still friends? Hey, Dan, Mike, are we still friends? If not, that's okay. We understand. But there were several others. Board Game Barrage, So Very Wrong About Games, no pun included. They came in third with 9 episodes of a podcast. Interesting. They're very popular. Efka and Elaine. They're in the world. They're in big game. They're part of big game. They're part of big game board. Big board game. Big board gaming. Yeah, they're in there. But hey, Sporadically Bored, they're working their way up. Mike has got the inside track. He's in the Dice Tower. He can get you there, Dan. Just let Mike get you there. He can weave his way in there, and soon Sporadically Bored will win, even though you did not come in second or third in the voting, apparently. But we voted for you. We voted for you. You guys, we love you guys. But yeah, so that happened. That's what's going on in the board game community here as of late. Again, there's been a lot of hullabaloo about the winners, but hey, what can we do? You open it up to the populace, that's what you get. It's a popular vote. People haven't played Barrage, so they're going to vote for what they've played, and therefore you have games winning that, may or may not be the primary pick that you would choose in a certain category. But hey, what you going to do about it, huh? Who here has played all the games? None of us. So really, awards in general are meaningless. It's like, do you like this? It's good? Well, then play it. The fact that it won an award, is that going to affect your enjoyment of it? No. If it's a good, solid game, enjoy it. Don't worry about what award it has won. Awards are foolish. Your favorite movie of 2019, probably Marvel Avengers Endgame, right? Is it going to win the Academy Award for Best Movie? Even though, in my opinion, it was amazing. It tied up 10 years, 22 movies worth of film into one movie, Avengers Endgame. Well, not one movie, Affinity. I have an affinity for Infinity, the Infinity War movie. And then Endgame. Endgame was excellent. Was it? And then you get into the awards. Is it going to win? No, obviously not. Obviously not. What did win last year? I forgot. It's not important. It's not important. I know Jojo Rabbit was up there. Good show. What else was up there? I'm sure it was something, depressing and dark, because that's what the Academy always goes for. But there again, Avengers Endgame was the biggest movie of all time, most popular. I too would have voted for it, but it's not going to win. And that's what's going to happen with awards. Awards, even if you have a jury, even when me and Jerry finally decide to do our snobbies for 2019, if we ever decide to do that, we may never do that, because, the world may end before then. I may get ambushed by murder hornets. They may come at me from all sides. I'll be walking along, minding my own business. Here come the murder hornets. They're like flanking me from the west, pushing me to the east, and then they attack me from the east, and I'm down, man down. Murder hornets got me. Premeditated, that's murder. It wasn't an accident. It wasn't an accident after all. They got me. But murder hornets aside, if they don't get me, if the coronavirus don't get me, I've already forgotten where I was even going with this, where I was headed beforehand. That's it. That's it for this episode. The Board Game Geeks Awards. Congratulations to Heavy Cardboard, Elizabeth Hargrave, Wingspan, and whatever else won. It's like Wingspan swept everything, and everything else was kind of, good for you if you won something. Yeah, that's just the way it goes. We'll keep recording best we can from our respective homes under quarantine, but you know what? The government is opening stuff up. My wife works at a bank. They're opening the bank here in a few days, depending on when this comes out. They may have already opened it. I'm not crazy about that. They're going to set up sneeze guards. I asked her if she could wear a mask through the whole thing, because you know what? No one in our area is wearing masks. Even when you go through, to get your food delivered to you, none of the fast food places, nobody has masks on. The people making my food don't have masks on. I passed by a wreck the other day, an 18-wheeler wreck. There's probably, oh, good Lord, there's probably 10 policemen, 5 firefighters, 3 paramedics, and a partridge in a pear tree. None of them had masks on. That's because, I don't know. I don't know if it's a macho thing. It was, it's just a bunch of guys out there. Oh, I ain't going to wear a mask. It's just, if it's mob mentality or what. But yeah, nobody wears masks here in Northeast Texas, Southeast Oklahoma. So if the murder hornets don't get me and the coronavirus don't get me, then we'll keep on making podcasts and content. And if they do get me, then, hey, well, I've got a library of 199 point at least 7 episodes. Just keep listening. Keep giving us dim clicks posthumously. It's nothing to joke about. It's not, because people have literally died. Now I've got into a territory I will probably delete from this episode, because I'm not making fun. It's just, when your mortality is facing you in the eye, you tend to get thinky about things other than board gaming and podcasts. But these are the things that keep us going. It's like, if I was to sit here and dwell on what all's going on in the world, I'd be depressed. No, I'm not depressed. I'm not depressed right now. I've got me some Proper 12 going on. Is that proper, though? Is that a proper antidepressant? No. Go to the doctor, Gabby. No, sir. No, thank you. I will drink my anxieties away. Don't listen to this episode. Just don't. I hope if you made it this far, Congratulations. Hey, you know what? Hey. Hey. If you made it this far this episode, I'm going to tell you this right now. I have a copy of Coffee Roasters. I have played Coffee Roasters. The Sashi and Sashi, I got the Sashi version. I downloaded the app. If you have the app, you will never play the regular game again. Because, as I have told Jerry in the past, there's so many turns, at least several times, at least in the first 2 to 3 to 4 turns, you are just taking them out of the bag and just aging your stuff, putting it back in the bag. And if you are playing the physical copy, well, you got to turn in this hard shelled for a 0, and then your 0s for 1s and your 1s for 2. You're just moving all these chits around. If you have the app, only play the app. If you like Coffee Roasters, download the app. You will never play the physical copy again. It does away with all that garbage of, emptied out the bag. I can have 4 items on the table. I'll put those back in the bag. Empty out the bag. I can have 6 items out there. Okay. Yeah, let's age them. Okay, put them back in the bag. You do that on the app, they just flip over and they're aged. But in the physical copy, okay, well, I got to turn the 0. Let me put my 0 back in the bin, grab a 1, pull it out, put it in the bag. It does away with all that garbage. Coffee Roasters. It's a fine push your luck solo game. It's not the game Jerry says it is. There's especially in the opening turns, you're just going to be literally emptying the bag, aging it, putting it back in the bag. Empty the bag, age it, put it back in the bag. Trying to get that darker roast. I enjoy the app. We'll never play the physical copy again. If you are listening to this and you email me my catchphrase, several of you, hopefully hundreds of emails will rain down upon us, and we will choose one and we will send you my copy, open, played, used, of Coffee Roasters. Done and done. All right, I've talked enough. I've drank enough. This is it for another pod solo. I'm Gabby. Hey, everybody, stay safe out there. I love you. I love you. Bye-bye.